Hey guys, this is Ko from LelegacyCrafting, and I'm going to show you how I made this Tartaglia cosplay wig from Genshin Impact. Since my wig is a little lighter than what I want it to be, I'm going to boil some water so I can get it ready for dyeing. I'll be using Rit Dye More Synthetic in the color Sandstone. Because my wig is such a bright orange, this tan color will make it look more like a natural red-headed shade instead. And when dyeing synthetic wigs, I do try to go for a shade or two darker than what I intended it to be, because after the wig dries and is applied with heat, it'll look 1 or 2 shades lighter than it did when it was wet. After you're done dyeing, you can let it air dry outside, or you can just blow dry it straight, but I'm lazy so I like to throw that shit outside and let the wind do its job. Now that it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and start brushing it out so it can be easier for me to straighten. Of course, if your wig is already the color that you like, then you can just skip the whole dyeing process entirely and just go ahead and start styling and teasing from there. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and start straightening the wig. I do straighten it in a curved motion towards the wig, and then I use my hands to run my fingers through it as it cools down so it keeps shape. And I just do this process throughout the whole wig. And if you do have a round brush, that'd probably be better, but I just straight up don't have one, so I just use my hands for most of this tutorial. So now that I have it all back to its something similar to its original form, I'm going to go ahead and start layering the wig. I use this shearing kind of cutting method where I take the scissors and it's bent to the point where it cuts, and I just kind of shred the hair back and forth until it thins out, so it's not such a harsh, blunt line. I just go ahead and pull on the wig until I get a piece that's a little too long, and I go ahead and shear it off. Slowly, and I take my time with this part because I don't want to mess up the wig. I don't want to cut it too short or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and cut where it's too long, and I want to thin it out so that it has less hair in some places and more layers in others. So you pretty much want to carve out the basic shape of the hair. So now that I'm more comfortable with the length of my wig, I'm going to go ahead and move to the front of the wig, the bangs, and the sideburns. This is the part where people see the most, I think, so I do cut this part a little more carefully than the rest of it. I do just the same thing. I do the same cutting method, and I just slowly, piece by piece, cut away until I get something close to what I want. Do keep in mind though that your wig head may not be the same shape or same size as your own head, so it is good to try the wig on before cutting, and you can kind of guesstimate how much to take off the wig in comparison to the wig head. Luckily, this wig head is a close size and shape to my own head, so I like to use these male mannequin heads instead of the typical female ones. So now that I've layered my wig enough to style, I'm going to go ahead and secure the wig with these straps. And I'm going to go ahead and move to the teasing portion. Now, I don't like to tease. I'm not particularly good at teasing, so I use a hair crimper. I've seen other wig stylers use hair crimpers instead, and it really saves me a lot of time when I'm not good at teasing. So I just spray a bit of hairspray, use the hair crimper, make sure it's all nice and crispy and has some kind of texture. And I just brush it out, and I straighten it again. I know this sounds really freaking weird, but it does add some texture to the hair, and it makes it easier for it to stand up. Now, depending on the hairstyle you're going for, if you want a straight hair look, I would straighten it a little bit more than I do in this tutorial. I was kind of lazy and I left some of them still crimped, and you can kind of see it, but it doesn't bother me. But going back, I would totally straighten it more. So I pretty much repeat this process up until maybe halfway through the wig. I just hairspray, crimp, comb it out, hairspray, straighten. I just do that up until halfway through the wig because I don't want the top to look so crispy as the bottom. But I mean, it's up to you. If you like your wig hair to look more natural opposed to that wig look, then this could work because it does kind of add more of a lifelike texture to the wig instead of that silky, smooth, perfect, straight hair look. You know what I mean? And as the hair is cooling, I sometimes do tend to pull on it so that it just gets straighter quicker. Now that you've done that, I go ahead and just brush out the hair. And the straight hair does cover some of the crimp, but if it still shows, you can go ahead and straighten it again. Now throughout the whole process of styling the wig, I do just trim every now and then. If something's too long or doesn't look right, I do just trim it away. Like this has a really long back than what I want it to be, so I just go ahead and lightly cut it. Now before I style the spike on top, I do separate it from everything else, and I just lightly layer the top of the wig. Now that that's done, I'm going to move on to forming my first spike of the wig. When doing a hairstyle like this, I do typically work top to bottom. So for forming a spike that goes straight up, I'm going to do the similar crimping method. I just load it with hairspray, I crimp it till it's dry, comb out the crimp, and then I load it with hairspray again, and then straighten it again. And so you can see it's already defying gravity without much work put into it. I didn't even tease it yet. And to get it to be extra sturdy, I do tease these spikes a little bit. And I help move it in the direction I want it to be as it dries. And always when you're styling a wig like this, don't be afraid to just trim it out and layer it as you go. Now to finish off this spike, I do just put a little bit of hairspray, gently mold to place, and I take my flat iron and lightly run it over the spike so it gets solidifies, and boom! Look at that nice sharp spike. Now for the rest of the wig, I'm going to continue to do the same process I did with the spike. I'm going to section each piece of a hair, spray with hairspray. I'm going to use a flat iron to over direct it, meaning I over curl it. I brush it out so it's not so crispy anymore. I add more hairspray and I reshape it to what I want. And then also along the way you can lightly trim if you have to. And that's pretty much the same steps I do for each and every spike for the rest of the wig. You may notice that there are some crimp marks on the front bangs. I did do that off camera. It helps add a little bit more texture to forming the spikes. As you can see, that first curl right there is pretty puffy, and that couldn't really be done without the crimper. Again, you can tease too. Like teasing is also a different method that works. This is just faster for me and easier. For those of you who don't know, we actually have a store. It's LelegacyCrafting. We'll leave a link in the description, or you can scan the barcode that's been on top of the video this whole time. It does take you to my personal card website, and there is a link to the store directly there. We sell masks, headbands, and other cosplay accessories, so if you're a cosplayer or you know someone who likes to collect these kinds of things, please check out our site or share it with someone else. It'd be such a great big help for our small business. Also, if you see an item on our store or on our Instagrams that we made and you want to know the process of how we made it, feel free to leave a comment down below of which item it is, and we can film a process video on how we made it. Now that I'm finishing up the wig by forming the back spikes, you can see that it's still kind of crimpy and kind of french fry looking, but honestly it doesn't bother me too much. But if you don't like that look, you can just go over it again and straighten it even harder. It should maintain a little bit of fluffiness. This tutorial video can also be used for other anime characters with a similar hairstyle, like maybe Emma from Promised Neverland, or that one guy from Haikyuu, or just any generic anime character that has like kind of a little bit of a spike, a little bit of a wave in their hair. Now once you form all the spikes and you're satisfied, you have your very own cosplay wig.
Boom. A child. No.
And there you have it, that's how I styled this Tartaglia wig. This tutorial can also be used for other characters as well. Make sure to check our website, link in the description, for other anime props and cosplay things. And leave a like and subscribe. I don't know, comment what you want to see us do next. If you want me to hack Legacy's channel again, I don't know, comment that too. And you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok to see what we're coming up with next. Alright guys, bye!